Good evening, America. You are listening to me, Sergeant Dave, host of Remember the Fallen show. After having survived a rollover accident avoiding a landmine in a troop transport vehicle, military acronym LMTV, in the Parwan province in Afghanistan in 2004, I emerged and returned to the United States with an even more compelling tale of perseverance as I navigate the rapids of the VA troubled waters system. I gain new perspective with the fever enthusiasm to all patriots across the windswept fields of America. All right, here we are live at the Remember the Fallen YouTube studio in beautiful Seminole County, USA, on the Winter Springs Oviedo line, where we'll be talking about jarheads, Marines, squids, Navy, penguins, Air Force. You know, we call them penguins because 98% of them don't fly jets. And then ground pounders, Army, like myself, and an occasional Coast Guard. Maybe not. You see, one of us can be disregarded, two of us can be ran off, but a podcast show, we are a movement. All right, so, it's been lately in the last couple weeks, it's mental health issues have been on the forefront. And then just recently impeachment came, so now that's buried. But I want to go back to what President Trump believes is there's an opportunity for us to reach out to mental health issues across this country. So as effects to combat the mental health issues epidemic ramp up at the federal level, countless nonprofits and organizations at state and local levels spend each day dedicated to fighting the battle of mental health, oftentimes on the front lines. A local nonprofit right here in Seminole County, woundedtimes.org. You heard her on the show, Chaplain Kathy. She knows all too well. In the past, she has postponed the threats of suicide from her blog and at times received late phone calls in the evening to talk veterans out of dying from suicide the next day. This is just one of the countless nonprofits that are unwavering to give up on our troops. Chaplain Kathy is her name, and she took up the slogan, clear the road, get your life back on track. So in the early stages of mental health issues, it can be as easy as controlling your thoughts. And I've been there. I've controlled my thoughts. I did some Tony Robbins back in the day. So I used to do cadence first thing in the morning. I'd walk in the morning and I'd do a cadence that would pump me up. And that was my positive thoughts of the day. So you got to control your thoughts. It's better to control your thoughts. We're aware of them than to suffer their consequences, okay? Because they're there, and they'll resurface. So this article from Think Well, Work Well discusses the mental and emotional rewards of attempting to control your thoughts when faced with life's challenges. Yet when this opportunity arrives, people sometimes say controlling their thoughts is just too difficult. They may even develop a mindset that says, I give up. It's so easy to walk away from stuff like that, but when it's your well-being, you really need to stay in the game and just do it anyway, okay? Just use that concept, do it anyway. When this happens, they're referring to how some of their challenges are too upsetting, like losing a soldier in war. Maybe it was a hesitation on your behalf or hesitation on their behalf. Maybe you weren't the perfect leader that day, but in the end, it's war. You got to look at it as war. You did your best. You did your best duty. So you got to look at it might be upsetting, and they're trying to control what they think their problems. So they see no point in trying. So you have to stay focused. They say that some thoughts are impossible to control. I had those thoughts, those dreams. I think we all do. But I finally kind of weaned off them a little bit, and so avoid thinking in a judgmental manner about issues that are highly important to them. So Barry Gordon, a professor of neurology at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, once suggested that it's not only difficult to control your thoughts, it's likely that you're unaware of the majority of the thoughts you experience. But he says you can still exert control over the thoughts you're aware of by directing your attention toward them, like shining a spotlight on them. And I agree that too. It's better to know who the devil is than not to know the devil at all. So you want to confront those bad thoughts and reverse them with positive thoughts, okay? It's not easy. It's going to take practice like anything else. Another psychiatrist, Bill Bill Petit, a former psychiatrist for West Virginia University, offered a similar suggestion. Try viewing the constant flow of your thoughts as a smorgasbord of food. You have the option to pick a thought that will nurture you. Otherwise, if you're unconcerned or inattentive about this, you could end up allowing a thought that's harmful to you. So some people might suggest you have a responsibility to choose your thoughts, right? I think we all do. Everybody has a responsibility to do that. And we have another reputable psychologist like Martin Seligman and Chris Pearson are among those who support the finding that thoughts create emotions and that thoughts are foundational to our motivation and performance. In fact, the relatively new fields of positive psychology, mindfulness, and emotion regulation are all based in part on understanding the power and importance of supervising our thoughts and creating positive emotions. So we need a break from our brain constantly going. So I think every break, you should go into a positive thoughts control at work, okay? It's true that controlling how you think won't pay the bills when you're jobless, nor will it end a home foreclosure or bring a loved one back to life. But controlling your conscious thoughts, says psychologist Susan Folkman, will grant you increased resilience and the ability to better cope with and resolve hardships and difficulties. According to psychologist Jeffrey Nevitt, it's not widely understood that behind every disturbing emotional state lurks a triggering negative thought. Makes sense, right? He said that people are more often aware of their feelings than the thoughts that created them. They don't make the connection between their thoughts and resulting emotions, which brings us to another reason why controlling your thoughts can be difficult. Our society places a priority on teaching people how to think so they can develop hard skills for their occupation. To think like a physician, engineer, soldier, a chef, school, teacher, etc. But it hasn't been a priority to teach people how to think, to develop their soft skills, or how to think so they can maintain their emotional stability. See, that's where we miss the boat. We're not thinking of our soft spots. We're thinking of our hard skills. And they're two different beings. I mean, obviously a soft skill is probably something you keep hidden. And that's the problem. We hide things, our emotions. We tend not to wear them on our sleeves, especially our soldiers, right? So we want to keep that in mind, that only within the last 20 years have educators acknowledged that soft skills might be the hardest and most important skills to develop. So we're finally starting to treat thinking as a fundamental skill that can be developed through mindfulness training. Ancient sages and philosophers have guided people on how to better control their minds. One modern curriculum for this training was developed based on decades of medical research by physician Jon Kabat-Zinn, the creator of the Stress Reduction Clinic and the Center for Mindfulness in Medicine, Healthcare, and Society at the University of Massachusetts Medical. Mindfulness training is designed to help you manage stress and avoid the unintended creation of unwanted emotions. You learn to pay attention to your conscious thoughts, remain non-judgmental in your thinking, and accept life's challenges. Mastering these skills require daily practice with simple but effective exercise. But regardless of the attention the mindfulness revelations have received in recent years, not everyone cares about this topic, right? Now you can see why there's a mental health epidemic out there. People are not focusing on this topic that is so crucial in setting up a positive thought base. Even those who did enroll in a mindfulness classes often become bored, and many never complete the entire 8-week practice regimen. You might be bored right now and click the show off. You might say, hey, this ain't for me. It's for everyone. You will get definitely something out of this podcast by listening to the whole podcast. It's really important to hit to the very end. Okay? To illustrate, consider these two quotes from inventors who helped make our lives more comfortable by controlling their thoughts. Okay? The first is, from Henry Ford, who said, if you think you can do a thing, or you think you can't do a thing, you're right. Ford apparently understood something about motivation before scientists were able to confirm it. He was ahead of his time, right? As noted earlier, your thoughts not only reflect your intentions, they create the emotions that motivate you to fulfill them. So you think it's too difficult to control your thoughts? You won't try because you lack the motivation. You get what you put into it. Let's get motivated, people. Positive thoughts is the way to go. Wake up in the morning, positive thoughts. Read a verse in the Bible. Listen to a church, a Christian radio station. That's where I get my positive thoughts most of the day. Both thoughts are correct and the choice is yours. For the benefit of your mental health and self-motivation, stop thinking about the can't-do difficulties in controlling your thoughts and focus on the can-do possibilities like the man who invented powered flight did. In regards to the skepticism and challenge associated with powered flight, Orville Wright said, if we worked on the assumption that what is accepted as true really is true, then there would be little hope for advance. Don't accept as true the outmoded idea that your challenges cause your emotions or your thoughts are too difficult to control. With a bit of study and practice, you control some of your conscious thoughts to help you regulate the emotions they create. At the very least, you can correct for an unwanted emotion by thinking intentionally to replace it. This innate ability is truly a gift and should be used. Let's repeat that. At the very least, you can correct for an unwanted emotion by thinking intentionally to replace it. This innate ability is truly a gift and should be used. These two pioneering inventors succeeded because they didn't allow their challenges to dictate their thoughts or weaken their resolve. Instead, they conquered their challenges by controlling their conscious thoughts, and they didn't focus on the difficulty of doing this. Since you have the ability to control what you say to others so as not to offend them, you can also control your conscious thoughts when speaking with yourself. And while this can be difficult at times, at least you know it's possible and beneficial. Doing so is more than opportunity. Health psychologists are suggesting it's your responsibility. Now the workforce suggests it's your responsibility to hone in on your top-notch soft skills. I'll never forget, I always seen that at UCF, my last 2 or 3 years at UCF, interpersonal skills. Everywhere I turned, there was curriculum on it, right? But hey, I was 52 years old, 54 years old. Why wasn't I learning these skills earlier in life at the elementary, rudimentary level? There's got to be something done with soft skills. So soft skills remind me of Finance 101, how it really isn't taught in middle school. So why aren't these two curriculums taught to our youth? Time to teach our children to prioritize on how to think to develop their soft skills, or to how to think so they can maintain their emotion stability. So you're probably saying to yourself, positively of course, right? What are soft skills? Soft skills, well, it's a noun. It's personal attributes that enable someone to interact effectively and harmoniously with each other. That's the definition in the dictionary. On the work-related side, soft skills can be defined as character traits or interpersonal aptitudes that affect your ability to work and interact with others. They are natural abilities that usually can't be taught in a classroom. I say, why not? Why not teach these soft skills at an early age and enforce this curriculum in all middle schools across the country by next year? In the meantime, we can hone in and develop these talents. As with any skill practice, practice makes perfect. So topping on the list for soft skills is communication skills. It can be oral or written and allow you to express yourself effectively in life. Some examples are clarity, confidence, respect, empathy, listening, verbal communication, nonverbal communication, written communication, constructive feedback, and friendliness. As I cross-reference these examples of communication, I was taught more than 50% of these in my elementary school. So why do the pundits still say they are not taught in the classroom? Just remember that having solid communication skills is the foundation of teamwork, and that's the number 2 on our list is teamwork. The third is adaptability. Some examples include curiosity, self-management, decision-making, calmness, optimism, open-mindedness, analysis, self-confidence, organization, self-motivation. The soft skills list goes on with problem-solving, creativity, work ethic, interpersonal skills, there it is again, time management, leadership, attention to detail. In conclusion, why you need soft skills. According to Forbes, 94% of recruiters believe that top-notch soft skills outweigh experience when it comes to promotion to leadership positions. All right, it's that time to support our sponsors and for those fit veterans in the audience. Get down and give me 22 everyday push-ups for the veterans that will die of suicide tomorrow. Give me 22.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com. For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Hi, welcome to the Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it? I'll take a sports announcer at home. Yeah, how'd you? We just know.
My wife picks up the new signature wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mix with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite. Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only. Participating restaurants. Double meat basement. Average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
Now that, like this. When I get a stand up, then I shout. Tip me over and pull me up.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council. KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Will it be the same old, or are you ready to take a vacation from the ordinary with the new Jamaican jerk turkey sub at Firehouse Subs? Freshly sliced smoked turkey breast, craveably sweet mustard sauce, and a hint of Caribbean seasoning. Just $5.55 for a medium. Save time. Order the new Jamaican jerk turkey sub on the Firehouse Subs app. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs. Save more lives. Participating locations, limited time only, plus tax. Prices may vary for delivery.
Movies and apps all in one place.
And does it have the YouTube?
You bet.
What about that Netflixer thing? Oh, I can't wait to watch a binge with my grandkids.
Contour TV from Cox.
And now, an ad from Dad.
Right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive.
Can I take these up?
What is this?
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.125%. APR 4.22%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate subject to change. It might be 8% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
This fall, Fox's animation domination returns. With a star-studded new family.
Their eggs sell for $40 a pop.
This is gonna work. Hashtag Stargazer.
Bless the Hearts premieres September 29th on Fox.
Fox 35 News, with teams covering all of Central Florida.
Volusia County.
Brevard County, Seminole County.
It's on your streets. It's on your feed. It's on your screen. It's on Fox 35, the news station.
All right, we are back. Before I take off my mental health psychologist hat, I have one more article to cover with you from our Remember the Fallen studio in beautiful Seminole County, USA. And this article is about this study, Positive Outlook Adds Years to a Meaningful Life. New research suggests that a positive outlook of virtually any dose of positivity can extend life. That means if you battle depression and negative emotions, you still benefit if you remain hopeful in some areas from time to time. This is what we mean by clear the road, take your life back. Okay? And for external optimists out there, it could make a big difference in your quality and length of life. What was truly interesting is that an optimistic outlook was associated with longer life in people who drank, smoked, didn't exercise, had a poor diet, had undergone significant medical care, or suffered from chronic illness. The more positive a person was, the longer they were likely to live. Bottom line. So there is hope out there, right? So just stay positive. Other studies have linked optimism to lower risk for chronic illness and premature death. The new study, looking at 70,000 women and 1,400 men, builds on those studies. Part of the reason optimism might aid health and longevity is that positive people tend to have less stress in their lives, or perhaps not less stress. They are just affected by it differently. Stressful situations are looked at more as opportunities to overcome rather than negatives that drag them down. Stress is known to take a sizable physical toll, which tells us why positive people were more likely to reach age 85 or higher, termed exceptional longevity. It's possible their reactions to stressful situations and how they dealt with them have made optimists 50 to 70% more likely to reach 85 than their least optimistic counterparts. Reducing stress and increasing optimism isn't easy, but it is behavior that can be learned to a degree. Once again, practice makes perfect. There are things you can do to help cope with stress in the short term, like mindfulness, meditation, exercise, Tai Chi, yoga, or like what I do, rock. For a more long-term approach, it will take some work. Talking to a professional may help ease your stress by identifying its causes and help you devise a plan to manage. It takes time, but over the long term, it is possible to acquire a more positive outlook. With better stress management techniques and a better outlook, you may be able to increase the length and quality of your life. Imagine that. You may. Yes, you will may. You just got to do it. That's the thing. Practice makes perfect. Now I know some of my soft skills I have to hone in on. I'm in the sales position, so I have to go back to school every once in a while and just get remotivated, self-motivated, learn, read, exercise, eat healthy. These are some simple things that really don't take a lot to do to add more life to your years. So, once again, It is getting 0 dark 30 for the show, and I'm just about ready to go into rack ops mode and relax. Never! But before I do that, the last promo, go to SergeantDaveMatthews@gmail.com. That's SGTDaveMatthews@gmail.com for any suggestions for the show. Any type of advocate on mental health issues, veteran issues, bring it on, okay? Email me. I can't do it without you guys. I need your support. We do appreciate all that. And you can always go to my Facebook page, all one word, Remember the Fallen. And you can also tweet me at Heroic Memorials. And you can always go to my website at www.neverforgottenmemorials.org. You can mark your calendar for every Thursday night at 9 o'clock to 9:30. They changed the hours. We're 9 to 9:30 on Thursday nights. But remember, we're always archived. So if you ever want to volunteer, go to the website, neverforgottenmemorials.org, or maybe you want to donate. Okay, so we're going to keep this going until all the troops come home safely. Pop, smoke, out.